Welcome back to the Driven to Succeed Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Olson, and today I'm sitting down with someone who's not only a close friend, but also a powerhouse in the mortgage industry, Terwedo. Terry's financed over $50 million in loans throughout his career. He's built his business on relationships, education, and consistency. He's part of the SWBC mortgage team, but he runs his book of business like a true self-generator, building trust one client at a time. Today, we're diving into what's happening in the Minnesota housing market right now, what it's like buying and selling during winter months, and how buyers can navigate today's rates and still win in this market. Terry, you joined my team, 6 years ago now?
Almost six.
Almost 6?
Yeah.
It's going to be 6 here shortly.
Dude, happy to be here, man.
It's
been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah, I'm excited to, dig in and help people see what if they can buy a house when it gets cold out. I think it's a good time for them.
Yeah, I personally love this time of year simply because people typically can get discounts, can typically get everything that they're looking for, like discounts, seller pay, closing costs, and it's good this year because we're going to go through some statistics today, but there's more houses out there today to look at.
100%.
Right.
100%.
But at the same point, last night I had a client put an offer in. There were 7 offers, right?
I just went through that this weekend on 3 of them.
Right.
Over 50 grand over.
Right.
And my clients are like, was that not a good offer? I'm like, let's just move forward. I didn't know. I honestly had nothing to say except for there's a better house waiting for you.
Right. I have my theory. What's your theory on why some houses are sitting and some houses are going into multiples? Like what's the...
I thought it was area at first. Like right now I'm in South Minneapolis, and that's where my 3 offers were this week, and all of them. And said, I don't know if agents priced low and wanted drive up sales.
Right.
That's a possibility.
Right.
That's my first inclination. Right. Always.
I do. So my theory is that, you can see houses sitting almost everywhere, but the agents that are doing a good job right now and getting the multiple offers, they are coming in low. They're convincing their sellers that, hey, if we market, like the real market's say 400,000, right? But if we show it at 375, we're going to drive business to it, right? Now that they have to take the gamble that if it's not right and you get that 375, well,
someone comes into a 375 cash hour, I want to cash offer, I want to close in 2 weeks. You're like,
Right. So so you do have to have a good plan behind that. And make sure like that everything is there. But I think the houses that are sitting are overpriced, or there's something wrong with them, or it's the area. It's one of the 3, right? Could be the area. It could be, there's something wrong with the house. Maybe there's a foundation issue. Maybe it's already been under contract and an inspection came up and now they found these other issues and that's why it's sitting. Or it's overpriced. And let's be honest. A lot of people, I think my house is worth gold, right?
Everyone thinks their house is worth $1 million, right?
Right.
Me
exactly.
too. I did all this work to it.
Right. So you got to be careful with that. And you have to understand that, and that's where having like a great agent to help you navigate the selling and like have a real plan in place. But let's get into the state of Minnesota market. What's the big picture? What are you seeing out there in Minnesota right now? We just kind of covered it.
Yeah, we're in a steady market. It's not the roller coaster we've seen in the last few years at all. Like the medium sales price, I believe statewide is hovering around 360, 365. It's up roughly, 3.5% year to year. So in turn, prices are holding strong, even with the higher rates. So is the market good? Yeah.
Right.
Market is good.
Yeah, I do believe it is as well. And I think it's going to get better with rates coming down. I saw inventory has ticked up like almost 6% year over year. So that helps. It's a 2-month state of supply statewide. So it does help. We just talked about like some houses are going still in multiples and then others are not.
Exactly. Like I said, good homes, if they're priced correctly, they do move fast. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So once again, it's a little less frantic now, but once again, just in the last 2 weeks, it seems a little frantic still.
Right.
Which I wasn't expecting that.
Well, and I think what really is driving that again too is guess what happened last 2 weeks? Rates came down.
Well, then they went back up, and
they've so let's put that in perspective. So let's do a quick. We're going to get off topic here for just a second, but let's talk about rates and why did they come down? Why is there a perception, and why did they go back up?
I just think it's my personal opinion, because when the government shut down, we don't have correct numbers on everything. Everybody knows rates need to come down.
Right.
But they're like, well, we don't know anything. So, but then once again, I don't know, have you answered 20 phone calls last week saying, well, now interest rates dropped? And I'm like, well, they actually went the other way.
Right.
Well,
so, I mean, here, I just came back from an economic conference for mortgage 2 weeks ago. And so first and foremost, when the Fed is announcing rate cuts, there's already a hedged bet and where rates are. They're hedging that there was going to be 3 rate cuts this year, right? The first one being in September, the next one October, third one's going to be December. So this most recent cut that they did on the 29th, and they talked about it, I believe it was the 27th, that was 95% certainty that was going to happen. So they cut on that day, and rates mortgage, the bond market that kind of dictates what mortgage rates are going to be, started up pretty flat. And then you get your Fed chair, Jerome Powell, comes on, and then he talks about how all these other economic factors that are, putting this in. And it's a very split. There's 19 members and it's split. Essentially, 10 members want rate cuts. 8 members do not want more rate cuts, and 1 actually wants to increase rates. So it's a very divided Fed. So that is why he came on and said, well, the rate cut in December is not a foregone conclusion. Those words right there, then and there, changed the bond market upside down. And guess what?
Just those couple words, I do remember hearing that.
Yep.
It's just, everyone's like,
why'd
you say those 4 words?
Not a foregone conclusion that it's going to be but so anyway, what I'm trying to get to is these rates were already baked in, but mostly what we've seen is that the actual media has, been talking about rates and rates coming down, and we're seeing rates in the low 6s, and they're posting 6.2, 6.28, 6.3. Well, that's a far cry from where it was a year ago, 7%.
100%. Rates are a lot lower. Now, do I forecast rates going up? I don't. Do I see them sitting kind of right where they are till the end of the year? I do.
Right. And I don't believe you're wrong, right? Yeah. It isn't going to be, in my opinion, there's going to be a few things that's going to change that. So we might see who the next Fed chair is going to be, and guess what? They're likely to be favorable for rate cuts.
Right.
I shouldn't say likely. It's probably that might be a foregone conclusion that person that's going to be the new Fed chair is going to have a very weighted decision on making sure that rate cuts in the future is coming. So when we said rates went up, rates didn't really go up a lot. The cost went up to get the same rate as you were. So like when we were showing people like say a 5.99 rate at 0.75% a discount or 1% discount point, now it might be like a point and a half to get there. So a $300,000 mortgage, 0.5% is $1,500. Right. So in the grand scheme of things, it's not crazy.
Right.
And we're not going like, hey, it went from 599 to 6.5. It went from 599 to like 6 1/8.
But some of those people are second guessing then, do I refi right now or do I just wait till after the first of the year?
Right.
Well, once again, I say it every day too. I don't have a crystal ball.
Right. No one does. No one does. All right. So let's get back on track. So what are the biggest challenges for buyers and sellers right now? What do you see?
I mean, I think for buyers, it's more affordability. Payments are higher with rates kind of where they're at. So, For sellers, a lot of them they're rate locked 3%, under 3%.
Mhm.
What is their, motivation to sell? Like, you know, are they reluctant to move? I ask clients every day, and I think you do too. What's gonna take me to sell my house?
Right.
What's gonna take you to sell your
Yeah.
house?
Well, I
You
think
know,
this year because it's not such a roller coaster, because yes, there's a lot of people that have that 3% rate. So there's the ones that I can afford a new home and rent out. Like I can put down money on the new home and rent out my current home. So I'm going to do that.
which is ideal.
Right. So you're stuck.
Again,
I mean, if like I know one of my clients, their mortgage payment was literally $1,500, and they're renting their place for $2,700. Their $1,200 is additional cash flow to supplement the new house. Made a huge, big deal, right?
yeah.
So it's you got those types of people. Um, the the other ones are the ones that need to move. Like, hey, we just had another baby. We don't have the room in the house, right? Our 2 bedroom isn't gonna work anymore, right? So we have to move.
That's a
Or
buyer's dream.
changing school districts, right?
Yeah.
So those are the ones. That's the ones. I do think there's a lot more stability right now, and then and I think, I mean, again, it's not when we're talking 7% plus interest rates or even high sixes. People, it's a psychological thing.
It's scary.
Yeah.
You know,
So when you start talking 5%, so I think what we're seeing in the last couple of weeks is that, again, now lenders are talking to their clients about rates in the fives, and that's again just a psychological thing.
100%. It's people were so worried about before, and I know I'm gonna one step off topic too. It's letting people know that now the times have changed. They're like they know the 3% rate is gone, and they're still paying rent, and they're like, well, when rates were down, I'm like, yes, you back then you could afford a $500,000 house,
Right.
but you're paying rent. Guess what? You can afford a $425,000 house. This people kind of get stuck in their head that, well, I have to live in this forever. Just start paying yourself.
Right.
That's it.
All right. Well, let's talk about buying during the winter, and timing. Winter in Minnesota, most people think nothing happens after October. That's not true.
No, not at all. Winter's actually, I mean, honestly, one of the best times to buy. I mean, there's less competition, right? Sellers tend to be more motivated on their side because, once again, you just said they might have had a baby. They're running out of room. You can negotiate way better terms sometimes. So, like I said, there's a reason why they have to sell. So, if you're buying, it's a good time.
Yeah. So what are the advantages?
And less competition.
Yep.
Haven't seen that yet. Less competition, more negotiating power. Sellers are open to creative deals, rate buy downs, closing cost credits. Sorry, like flexible closing times. We can move faster on our end. And then easier scheduling, like inspectors, appraisers, title. Everyone's just not quite as busy.
Right. Okay, we talked about the upside. What is the downside?
Well, that's the other thing. There's limited inventory,
Right.
obviously. Snow cover, you can't see the landscaping, the grading, the roof conditions. Moving logistics. Let's face it. Who wants to move when there's a foot of snow?
Right.
Outside. Hey, John, can you come help me move? No.
Would you rather move when it's 10 below out or when it's raining in the spring?
Right.
You can't shovel the competition,
No,
right?
I love it. I love that. I mean, and honestly, the right property pops up in December, that's your chance to get a start on it before the people who want to buy in spring.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
I talk to people all the time where like, hey, I'm just getting started. I want to buy a house next spring, right?
Sure.
So this is another reason to buy in the winter, because guess what happens, man? Like it's over, and I've said this numerous times. I talk to someone, and we're gonna do something in the spring. Okay, great. Let's actually start looking at doing something now, sooner than later, with an application. You can buy whenever you want, right?
planning.
But what happens, what generally happens right now is like you have these conversations and like, well, if I'm going to buy in the spring, I can wait till after Christmas to do an application. Meanwhile, what are they doing on their phone during their
Looking at
scrolling,
looking
right?
at houses every day.
Right. Guess what? The Zillow, oh, wait, look at this house. Somebody posted this on social media. Holy, let's go look at it.
Everything we want.
Are they ready?
Nope. Guess how many people are?
Right.
Everybody else walking into
Right.
that house.
Right. All right. So let's get more tactical about that. So what is the first thing we do? What does that lead us into?
Get your financing dialed in early. It's as simple as that. Let's get the plan. Let's have, like, I think we've talked about it for years, is having buying power. You're ready.
Mm-hmm.
Get your application in early. Per se, we have to fix a couple things on your credit. You know what I mean? Let's get that fixed.
Mm-hmm.
So now your credit score goes up. You get a better interest rate, so it's just plan. Don't be that guy who I just saw that house pop up. I want to put an offer on it tomorrow.
Right. Okay, fantastic. Let's get an application. Guess what? They're self-employed, right? Their money's in different accounts. They have to do this, they have to do that. But if they would have been planned appropriately, right? And now it's not such a rush to get that in. And most of the time, what ends up happening, what I see is like last night. I mean, we're talking, highest and best at 7:00, and they literally went and looked at the house at 5:00.
Right.
I got the application at 10 in the morning, right? So were we able to get it done? Yes. Did we miss out? Unfortunately, yes, we did.
Second too, I'd bring that back to, work with a strong agent.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes some of these really good agents know about houses popping up before they even pop up.
Right.
Some of these people are on teams. Some people know, they have a lot of friends who also work in that biz,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's just have a strong agent who's got your back.
Right.
Right. Third, you can always look into kind of creative financing options come that time too. So a 2-1 buy down, a permanent rate buy down, seller concessions, a lot of people are offering that. It's just being creative,
Right. Right.
and then I'd say fourth, probably being smart about inspections, like pay attention to the heating systems, the attic insulation, like how much can that roof hold in snow?
Right.
Like those little things that people don't think about in spring, in summer, and fall, that obviously these houses where we're from are built to withstand.
Right.
Hopefully.
Right.
But those are the things you need to have. And that's why I still believe in having inspections. You don't know what's going on in your house.
I have a feeling that and that's the other thing. So if, buying in the winter versus buying in the spring when everybody's buying, all of a sudden you missed that inspection, or you can't get an inspection. Right. If you're like, we want an inspection. Well, we missed out on 4 or 5 homes because we can't get one, because other people are not doing it. Right. And you're not able to get, whereas right now you do have that's what I love the most about it. Inspections, maybe discounts, seller paid closing costs, just less competition overall. So let's turn that into, it turns a slower season into actually a smart buy. And if rates drop later, you can refinance.
100%. That old fashioned saying, marry the house, date the rate.
Right.
It's as simple as that.
Right.
But once again, pushing that into people's heads.
Right. So that leads us into, the $1 million question of, should people buy now or wait until the spring?
If you're ready to buy now.
Right.
If you can get out of your lease, if you can move now, move now. Like the market doesn't reward hesitation. Waiting for the perfect timing,
Good luck.
often means paying more later. That's all it does.
Yeah.
So if you can do it, do it.
Right. Spring market, you're going to have more homes to choose from, but you're also going to have way more clients looking at those homes, or other customers, other people, I should say, looking at those homes as well.
Exactly. Those, and those motivated sellers in the winter months, that's your chance to win kind of quietly without anybody else, who aren't shopping, who want to wait. You win.
Right. It's about readiness, not seasonality.
I
Right.
couldn't say it any better myself,
Right. All right, let's recap a little bit. Minnesota market is stable, prices are steady, and inventory is still tight. Winter can be advantage if you are prepared. The smart buyers will leverage the timing, financing strategy, and motivated sellers. Terry, what's one piece of advice you'd give anyone listening who's thinking about buying this winter?
I would say preparation beats prediction. Get your plan together now. Let's talk about it. Your financing, your agent, the mindset, when the right property comes up, you're ready. And you're confident. Having everything set up in a row. Like I tell my clients, if you plan this, at closing, you're gonna stare at me and go, "That was really easy."
Right.
Like, you know why? We planned it.
Correct. Right.
Just plan
That's
it.
great advice. Terry, thank you for joining. As always, your insights are great. You've been fantastic with your clients. I mean, you get the most 5-star reviews, and it's not just 5 stars and, oh, Terry did a great job. It's Terry did this, this, and this, and I will recommend him to every one of my single followers, or client, anybody else, and so forth. So Terry, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be back.
Appreciate it. Please like and subscribe, and if you want to reach out to Terry, feel free. His information will be on this podcast as well.
Thanks.